Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 136 for the week of December 9th, 2013. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who else is here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
And Charlie.
Toby will be joining us shortly. He's running a little late, so we're just going to go ahead and start without him. We'll if you hear a loud squeaky door opening and Toby shuffling in 15 minutes or so, that's what you're hearing. So we'll get him on, and I'm sure he'll have a few things to talk to us about this week when he gets here.
I'm glad we clarified that up for the future.
Yeah. Well, we've been recording later and later and longer and longer. I'm trying to get us back to zero so we can start at a reasonable time, so I'm not home at 10 o'clock at night from recording. So
I agree.
Maybe a little shorter episodes, fewer 2 hour long episodes.
Have we gotten any complaints about the
complaint? Yes, we got a complaint. We got a complaint from Ryan Higgins, who had to up his hosting service because our episodes were running too long and they took up too much space in Libsyn. So I'm gonna try to get us back down to a more reasonable level. Now I know why Ryan Scott on the Geekbox always bitches when we go really long because it's annoying. This is one of those weird weeks where, I don't know, there's not a lot of comic news. There's movie news and TV stuff to talk about, but comic-wise, very light. So we had a request from Walzo on Twitter here for some random picks, so maybe we'll close out the episode with that. But
holy crap, random picks?
Yeah.
Happens every once in a while.
I know.
Every now and again.
When Ryan actually reads a book.
Yeah. I for a while, I was like, okay, 5 books a day. I can read 5 books a day. I get home and I'm like, I can't even read one. Okay, 2 books a day. So now 2 books a day is my number.
You know where you have to read, right?
Well, I read here a lot.
No. You need to read in the shitter.
Well,
just take one book in there, finish that one book.
Everyone does that, okay? I'm saying I need to read.
You shit at least once a day.
In addition to that, okay? Let's put it that way. In addition to that, okay.
I'm so trying to hold my tongue on something with a sock right now.
I'll get Jesus. We'll get Toby's opinion on some of the stuff when he gets in here. But the big news this past week clearly was I'm going to probably mispronounce it. I looked it up. It's apparently pronounced Gal Gadot, G-A-G-A-D-O-U-T, Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot is how I've heard other people pronounce it, but I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation here.
Some hot chick from Fast and the Furious.
We'll know soon. Got cast officially as Wonder Woman in Man of Steel 2, Batman/Superman. So yep. Wonder Woman officially announced.
Have they announced Steve Trevor?
No, I mean, they haven't announced anyone else. So, Brock, I know you weren't the biggest fan. Are you any interest in going to see the second one? I mean, does this change anything?
I'll go see the second one. I mean,
I don't think he ever said he wouldn't go see the second one.
I was just immensely disappointed in Man of Steel.
Okay.
Immensely disappointed. I watched Pacific Rim last night, and that movie was far more entertaining.
Pacific Rim is awesome.
Even though its story was highly predictable and kind of it was a much better film than Man of Steel.
Well, Pacific Rim is fantastic, so I wouldn't say it's a better film than Man of Steel, but Pacific Rim is awesome.
I own it, but still have not watched it.
You didn't see it in the theater?
Nope.
Really? Oh, Pacific Rim's great. I loved it.
It just hit at that exact time when I was getting ready for Comic-Con, then I was at Comic-Con, then I came back from Comic-Con. And
Yeah. No, Pacific Rim is fantastic.
No, I really enjoyed it.
Charlie, Gal Gadot. What's your take?
In general, at this point, I am pretty much fine with any kind of casting they do until I see it on the screen, just because I don't have the best track record of nitpicking costumes and casting choices, and then I see them on the screen, I go, holy shit, how wrong was I? So I've just stopped.
Well, to me, I never understand people's reasoning for bitching about this stuff. You see a couple pictures of a model, you see them in one movie for 5 seconds. That's not a judge of what this person could do in a different role. Yeah.
Well,
anyone that thinks she's too skinny and is not going to bulk up for the role, it's like, look at what's his face for Batman? Christian Bale. He was in The Machinist. He was 110 pounds, and then he's Batman and he's ripped, right? Mm. Look at the difference between Chris Evans when he's in Captain America, or what's his face from Thor. Then look at these guys in other movies. People change. Actors change their bodies for the movie role they're in.
What's
good actors?
What's the guy's name from 300?
The main guy?
The main guy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, he did 300 and got hella ripped for that, and then did a bunch of romantic comedies for women, and, like, he didn't have to get ripped for those.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly how
and
these things,
they can pad the proper areas.
That's how these things always work. Like, Gerard Butler. Yeah, that's how these things always work. You're never going to get, what the person looks like in a few still shots is not what we're going to see in the screen in a year and a half.
Nope.
It's just, and if you think that, you're crazy. I don't.
Just be happy they didn't like cast a Kardashian or something.
Oh, jeez. Well, and I mean, and it seems like women really get the short end of the stick on this, because with the guys, it tends to be like, okay, who's a guy? Okay, he looks like Superman or Batman. Sure. The women, it's like, man, I've seen the worst comments about like, oh, she doesn't have a big enough breast size. Oh, she needs to like, she's too skinny. Oh, she's too short. It's like, really? Like, you just don't hear crap like that when they come to casting guys. Like, the worst I think was like when Hugh Jackman they cast as Wolverine. He's like, oh, he's too tall.
He's too tall.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, I guess maybe when when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman, I mean, I know people weren't thrilled with that, but it's like that was such a long time ago. Like in recent years, no one bitches. No one says anything when it comes to guys. Oh, people bitch, but it's like, with the women, it's like it's really creepy. Like, oh man, I don't know. Yeah, if you don't think they can make these people have to look like them, I mean, look at every single movie. That has come out. These people, they change them. They're actors. That's their job.
As long as the actor's willing to do what's necessary for the part, it doesn't matter.
Right. That's all that matters. Well, I mean, we don't know how much she's going to be in the movie. We don't know, whether she's even going to be in costume. I mean, they've not said anything. They just said she's going to be a Wonder Woman. I'm assuming she'll have some form of a major role in it, but could be in the last 10 minutes. I mean, we don't know. So it's too early to start jumping around. The
second they include her, the more I'm just figuring this is going to be an extremely direct launch pad for a Justice League movie. Like I'm expecting the end to basically be, we should form a team.
Right. And they should. I mean, there's rumors of Nightwing, there's rumors of Flash.
Yeah.
Which to me, if DC's like, crap, we have to put everything in this and spin them off right away, that's no good. That never works out right. If one of the rumors I heard is that they want Luthor for the villain, Lex Luthor, and Bizarro. Doomsday. Is like the villain of the movie. That Luthor's kind of just in the background, and Doomsday is sort of like the main villain.
For the most part, I would prefer they keep Luthor in the background for at least a couple of movies, just because I like him pulling the strings more than trying to put on the power suit.
If they went all out, it could be Luthor and... I mean, I said this. Luthor and Joker should be the villains of the Justice League movie, because those are the most recognizable DC villains. And I personally... people want Darkseid. People want all these other crazy crap. I get it. But Luthor and Joker as the two villains of the Justice League, to me, that is just perfect. And I think if they did
it's. I mean, we talked about this with Man of Steel. Is that they jumped to the sci-fi villain in Man of Steel like right away and kind of lost some people. You kind of have to have a grounding a little bit with like characters like Luthor and Joker, who are a little bit more grounding, right? I mean, Nolan built up to Bane and what Bane was.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of talk, I want to say it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was Comic Resources and a few other sites posted about that they've talked to, that the companies doing Arrow and the TV stuff have not talked with the movie companies about the movie stuff. There are certain characters that are off limits, but because they don't want to double up on them.
Yeah.
But there's no talk of the TV shows and the movies crossing over, which I know we've talked about at length in the past, and I think is a mistake. I think they should, but whatever. They don't want to. They don't want to.
I guess, like for me, especially when it comes to TV shows versus video games, or like. Honestly, I think it just improves it the more that you make sort of a cohesive thing. Like the fact that Stephen Amell voiced Green Arrow and Injustice was smart.
But there's your grounding. So if you want the grounded characters, if you want more down-to-earth characters, you have Arrow, you have the Flash show that's coming up, which we'll talk about in a few. You have a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I would love to see Darkseid, and I'd love to see the Justice League just beating the hell out of Darkseid for 2 hours. But to me, I think a safer bet is Luthor and Joker, just characters people know to come into this. Like with Avengers, you at least had Loki, which was a proven success from the previous movies and who had already made kind of a name. You know, I would, again, if they want to go crazy $300 million giant sci-fi epic, awesome. I'm the first in line. I'm the first in line anyway. It could be Mixoplex and Batman. It could be the villains. I'd be awesome with that too. That'd be the best. But I mean, I'm there regardless of what happens. But yeah, I think Luthor and Joker to me just feel like such a safer bet, something that more people can relate to, and then you can go crazy after that if you want to.
See, I have a hard time jumping on board with the idea of Luthor and Joker for the first outing for like a Justice League movie. If it was Luthor and Joker forming like the Legion of Doom or something, I'm all for it. But just Luthor and Joker just doesn't seem...
Well, I think I said in the first one, Darkseid, the second one, Luthor Joker. But you flip that around either way you want. And yeah, sure, Legion of Doom. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'd do if I was going to go for
I think
the
that is kind
bet.
of implied. You know, I mean, I think it would be more than just the two of them. Well, you look at like Tower of Babel, which is the big Justice League arc by Grant Morrison. It was, you know, them reforming.
No, that was Wade.
Not Tower of Babel. I'm sorry. What's the?
Are you talking about Rock of Ages?
Rock of Ages, sorry. Yeah. Rock of Ages, which is the big Morrison, Luthor, Joker reforming the crime, the Injustice League or whatever, and going around and, you know, that was great. And Rock of Ages would be, sorry, oh my God, I'm totally going back and forth on all my...
Tower of Babel?
Tower of Babel would be a great story, but I don't think they would go with that for a movie. I mean, I think you need a bigger... in the forefront villain.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at how Marvel's been doing, they did Avengers and they brought Coulson from the movie universe to the TV universe, and it hasn't really worked too well. But taking, Emil and taking him from the TV universe to the movie universe, while having him still come back to the TV universe, it kind of brings you bring people along either direction, right? They're going to be people that are like this, that see this Justice League movie that has Green Arrow in it, and holy crap, there's been a TV show about this guy. Yeah, I want to go watch it.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, we badmouth Agent Shield pretty regularly here for good reason, but it is still a very successful TV show, and Marvel will continue it the numbers are pretty good for it compared to most shows.
Last I read, it's at like 6.35 million,
which is still pretty damn good.
Which is decent, but it's not.
They're not number one, but they're not doing bad. I mean, the show is doing well enough that it is going to survive for the next few seasons. I mean,
as long as it doesn't keep its downward trend going too much.
It is a successful show, so I don't see why DC wouldn't do something similar. To me, it feels so foolish.
See, I kind of feel like they should hedge their bets a little bit by having a cohesive universe, but utilize it in different timelines. Like, as soon as they cast the older Batman with Ben Affleck, I kind of went, okay, this is perfect. That way you can have sort of the older Batman and stuff within Justice League and within Man of Steel. But if you want to spin off the Batman franchise from that, you can still do younger Batman stories and have the character be a younger actor playing Ben Affleck's Batman. And
well, I think you need to look at these like James Bond. The story just keeps going and it doesn't matter. The continuity...
Well, I'm just saying that the idea of already having a well-established Batman, I think, works really well because you can then sort of spin it off to this Batman already knows what he's doing. Well, in the spin-off Batman movies, you don't have to tell that same kind of character. And going back to like Arrow with Stephen Amell, he can literally grow the Ollie beard and stuff and film scenes for Justice League and then go back for the show and not have it.
Yeah, sure.
And all of a sudden you've established the same kind of thing, so you don't have that sort of cheat of, okay, well, if there's a Justice League and Green Arrow's a member, why doesn't he call him in when this or this? Well, if you do it that way, you don't have to. You realize that at that point in the show, there is no Justice League to be called in.
Well, Arrow has been interesting in their ways that they've, I don't want to say referenced the Dark Knight movies, but they've been very careful to not double up. I mean, we have Ra's al Ghul in the background, but we're getting Nyssa, not what's her face, not Talia. And there's been at least one or two other references in the show that have been.
Dollmaker is a
but I'm talking specific to the Dark Knight, the Batman trilogy. There's been to me, maybe just a bit of a feeling.
Well, no, they've definitely sort of hinted towards lines and stuff that specifically came from meaning within those movies. Like in the League of Assassins episode with the race references and that kind of stuff, there's also the line about minding your surroundings, which is directly from
right.
Batman Begins and like the League of Assassins training and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're definitely nodding at the fact that
now there was talk in this one, if I'm correct, that Merlin was saying, he was like, "Oh, I'm going against the training by trying to destroy the city and everything like that," which I didn't. Which I was like, okay, well, that seems a little contrary to what they were saying in Dark Knight or in Batman Begins. But still, like I said, I don't think there was any direct connection, but I feel it is an attempt to loosely avoid direct references to Dark Knight to be like, well, look, if you want to say we're in the same universe, then we are, but we're never going to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also the ability to go, while DC doesn't know exactly what it was doing at the time, it's easier to toe that line until they fully figure out this is where everything's setting, this is where we're going. So,
right, because who says, they can't have, this guy be in the new, Christian Bale Batman just a little bit older if they want to be like, yeah, sure, Ben Affleck, yeah, he doesn't look like Christian Bale, but whatever, it's the same character, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he comes back.
Like you said, I mean, they're James Bond type movies. Like, you can just tell the stories, and it doesn't necessarily matter who's playing the part. But in certain instances, it does matter who's playing the part because they're playing, two different, sometimes three different characters, and they have to pull off all those characters. I mean, if you look at the original Batman franchise, I mean, people liked Michael Keaton. They thought he did a good job doing both. But then you switch to Val Kilmer and George Clooney, and you're kind of like, well, one filled the suit fine, but didn't play Bruce very well, and then the other one just sucked. So
I don't know. I do definitely agree that that's the most common feedback I've gotten to Batman movies specifically. Is you've always heard the made a great Bruce Wayne, made a horrible Batman, made a great Batman, made a horrible Bruce Wayne. But I don't really remember ever hearing that kind of feedback towards like any other like big screen character.
Well, I mean, what the guy who played Superman in Superman Returns, I mean, he was
Brandon Routh.
Yeah, he was getting flack for it. I mean, because at the same time, the same time you had what's his name playing Smallville.
Yeah,
so and he was doing
Tom Welling.
Yeah, Tom Welling was doing it. So I mean, people are going to say what they want to say about it, but I think.
Well, I'm just saying that like Superman, I've never really for the most part, people kind of either like the performance on a whole or don't like the performance on a whole. I don't really hear too much of the didn't make a good Clark Kent but made a good Superman and vice versa. I
think Brandon Routh. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure people didn't like him in some regards, but I think more people didn't like the movie as opposed to didn't like him. I think he was good in both ways. Yeah, I mean, I think with Batman, it's tough because I think they were all fine as Bruce Wayne. I think they were all mostly fine as Batman as well. It's just the stories got progressively worse. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. You can't hold up a movie based on...
Yeah, George Clooney couldn't hold up that Batman film.
No. So, I mean, obviously, as we get closer to Batman, Superman, Batman, or whatever they're going to call it, Man of Steel 2, I guess.
Trinity.
We'll find out more, and, hopefully by Comic-Con, we'll have a teaser of some sort. I would assume a year ahead of time. So there's no way they're not all going to be at Comic-Con. So
yeah, I mean, I was watching something today where Amy Adams was interviewed, and she said something about filming in February. So I would expect they'd have a fair amount of a push by Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, they've already done some kind of like background filming and B filming and stuff. They did that that football game. And I think there was talk of them filming another scene real quick. So maybe they're trying to get kind of a little sizzle reel or teaser trailer ready for Comic-Con. So I figure it takes a while to get all that ready.
Well, I know that. I mean, we're probably going to talk about it at length at some point soon. But I mean, Flash was introducing Green Arrow.
Oh, we're going to talk about it right now.
Oh, okay, well, good intro because I think the DC's been doing a great job with Arrow, at least like you said, in not necessarily doubling up, but hinting at the stuff in the Batman universes or prior incarnations of it, but also just introducing more of the DC universe in a very, very kind of paced, great way.
Well, I don't know if I'd say paced, because the first season was like nothing, and then all of a sudden now it's like, and here's everything at once.
Well, there was a bit in the first season,
bit, sure,
especially when you factor in the island.
You had Deathstroke, and you had Shadow, and you had what's his face,
China White,
and
the first one,
and what the hell's his name? The
Merlin.
Well,
Deadshot was in it.
Yeah. and freaking what the hell's his face? The accomplished perfect physician, and so there was, but it's. They've turned up to 11 now.
In the first season, now it's DC centric.
Yeah, because we had.
Well, I admit one of the things. I'm not saying this throws me like I think it's bad, but yeah, they're throwing out so many references to stuff and building up so many little sort of side things where it is kind of weird that they haven't even like resolved the first one, where they're already laying the seeds for the second, third, and fourth.
Well, we've got in this last episode of Arrow, The Scientist is the name of it. Episode 8, season 2. We got what's his face? Grant Gustin is playing Barry Allen, police forensic scientist, junior, sort of, occasionally, kind of.
Isn't he the intern?
Barry Allen, basically? Yeah. I mean, there was talk early on of the plot of his. He was going to have like this backdoor pilot.
Yeah, but that wasn't going to be till like episode 18.
End of the season, right? And then they decided, it was good enough, we're just going to have a full-on pilot, which is great news, meaning we may get Flash as early as September.
Yeah.
And there was talk that this sort of his motivation is, we'll get to some of his origin here in a second, but his motivation is that his superior officer, his mentor gets killed. This is talk of the pilot, and so that's sort of the situation of kind of his origin and when he becomes Arrow or when he becomes Flash and all that. Now in this episode, they go full on 100% into the Jeff Johns origin of Barry Allen, that his mom was killed. Mm-hmm. They suspect the father. His father's been arrested, but he says it's not him. And for anyone...
To the point where, and this was a little bit different, all the Jeff Johns stuff I've seen, like it eventually reveals what happens to his mom, but he wasn't there, versus this version, he was there and has memories that sort of peg it as outside of the norm.
Well, Flashpoint, and if you saw that Flashpoint animated movie, I mean, it's just straight up exactly how they show it in that.
Well,
he gets home...
In this, he talks about how he was there, and he remembers basically he was there, moved at a blur, suddenly was blocks away, and
he saw a shadowy, speedy figure run through, kill his mom, and then pushes him blocks away, which is I mean spoiler, I guess, because. Not that you don't know who it is, but it's Reverse Flash. It's Professor Zoom.
Well, no, but the only reason I'm bringing up that distinction is in the sort of prior version, it's complete and sort of total faith on his part, believing his father, versus this, it's nobody believes him, and he knows what he saw.
Right.
So.
Well, in the comics, Barry Allen originally was just... a dude who was late all the time, and there's a great reference to his actual origin in the episode where he's climbing up on all the chemicals.
No, he's looking at the shelf going, these can't be here. This can't be stuck.
Right,
this
but he's
is a
like,
recipe for disaster.
Yeah, he's like kind of climbing up on the shelf, like moving stuff around, and then you see the lightning strike outside, and it's like, that's the actual origin of Barry Allen.
You guys all had a fanboy moment.
Oh, I did. That was so
absolutely.
good. Because the lightning bolt comes through and hits him and causes the things to spill on them. And if you want to believe the origin, that lightning bolt was actually Barry Allen that went back in time and caused himself to get hit, but that's a way later retcon. I mean, it's pretty obvious that their origin for Flash, and this is going to be the particle accelerator. That they keep kind of talking about this. Oh, this protest about this particle accelerator in Central City.
It's going to be we're going to see a particle. The particle accelerator, right? We're going to see it up here, and then right underneath it's going to be something that looks like a treadmill.
That would be awesome. Right? That would be awesome. Well, they've talked. They've also talked.
No. I was just thinking of the Peabody and Sherman comic they did recently, because they go through different designs for time machines, and of course they have the treadmill. They have the telephone box. They have the. You
saw that in that Star Trek Legion of Superheroes crossover, right? where they go into the room of the time machines, and it's the cosmic treadmill, the Legion's time travel
Isn't the
bubble
DeLorean
thing
in there too?
Huh? The DeLorean was in there. Yeah. Doctor Who's box is in there. Police box is in there. Yeah. All the TARDIS, all of them. Yeah. That was such a good scene. Yeah, but I mean, this kid is good. I want to say his name was Grant Gustin. Yeah, he was cool. You know, I didn't know exactly how they were going to play off Barry. I mean, you know, he's young. He's young. And what's so funny is I thought Stephen Amell was young, but when they bring in these other people on the show, it's like Stephen Amell's like the oldest guy in the room. Yeah, all these people are so young.
He seems a little Kid Flash to me. Like almost that he looks like Kid Flash.
He's a little more like Wally than Barry. Yeah. But Barry was 35 when he was introduced into the comics. Yeah. So
man, that guy's late to everything.
He is. But I mean, I like the play up. Oh, I missed my train. Oh, I'm late. Oh, I'm not good at my feet. I mean, that is classic Barry Allen.
Those are great lines.
Those are all just great references to the original character, and so I hope they can kind of keep that up going into the actual show, which I think hopefully September. I mean, hopefully we hear some sort of official, because they must be filming the pilot.
Well,
the pilot now.
Whenever they do the pilot, we'll hear pretty quickly.
Well, with Arrow
or not.
They were like, pilot season 26 episodes, go. Like it was nothing. And Stephen Amell was like, oh my god, I'm working 7 days a week. Like we're filming 100 episodes at a time. Like they just went balls to the wall with Arrow.
I kind of get the impression, based on the fact that they've greenlit like a full-blown pilot, we're going to get a very similar thing with The Flash.
Probably. Yeah, I hope so, because it was so good.
Especially because the other stuff they talked about in development obviously has kind of been shelved at the moment with Wonder Woman and stuff. So
yeah, well, Wonder Woman's still being talked about. Gotham still, or Gordon? Gotham? What are they calling it?
I think it's Gotham.
Yeah, there was some.
I'm really excited for that one.
Well, there was some talk. I want to say today. It was either Friday or today that they are apparently looking to have Bruce Wayne be a regular on the show. I mean, pre-Batman, but that there is going to be acknowledgement and Bruce Wayne is going to be on the show on some sort of regular basis. So I don't know if that's, how, you go on comicbookmovie.com and all these bullshit websites. Who knows about any of them, but that would be cool if they wanted to do that. I mean, if it's like, because one of the things we've mentioned many times is like a great kind of Batman origin TV show would be just Batman traveling the world and sort of meeting all these people and doing all this stuff, kind of young Indiana Jones Chronicle style. Mm-hmm. And while it's something that's a great idea, you could could still do that, but just have him occasionally come back to the city and occasionally be a guest star on the show and be like, oh, Bruce Wayne's here. Hey, Bruce Wayne. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what they're going to do with it, but I think that could be cool too.
I think that when coming back into comic books in the past few years and reading a lot and stuff and being more DC centric than Marvel centric, I've ended up liking a lot more of the secondary characters, third tier characters like Gotham. Like I really enjoy Gotham Central. Yeah, the story. Like characters that I wouldn't necessarily think I would be interested in. I have an interested, and they're not necessarily the main character. Right. It's like, if they have a Gotham show where we're watching Jim Gordon and his detective teams trying to combat, all of these supervillains that are running rampant around Gotham and the gangs and because you have Penguin, you have,
well, it'd be easy enough to have Penguin and to have what the hell's the big crime family from
Falcones?
Yeah, Falcones. Yeah. You have those guys kind of going to war. You have the sort of the setup of some of the villains. So you have the Riddler kind of getting maybe not out there, but Edward Nygma kind of setting up. You get Hugo Strange kind of doing various things. Yeah. You have obviously Arkham Asylum's around, so you kind of get some guys to kind of
great roles
out of Arkham Asylum.
You know what great roles would be? The chick that's the carpenter, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I know. And then the guy that does gets the layers for the villains, like the broker guy.
Oh yeah.
Like that would be cool to see in the show. Like those two characters coming in and like the Penguin's trying to set up a new shop and they're talking with the broker and he says, "Well, I have a contractor that will work great for you," and it's the carpenter girl. Like that. It's just a great way to introduce all of these characters without having to, have Batman slug it out with them.
All right. Oh, and of course, Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent would be the good guy. He'd be one of the good guys in the show, which would be a great way to. That could. I mean, that really. If they wanted to, I could see them setting up Harvey Dent as one of the good guys in the show, and the finale of the show is him becoming Two-Face and kind of Bruce Wayne freaking out, and sort of set that in with the origin of him finally becoming Batman and kind of coming back to the city full time. Because that relationship, I feel, kind of doesn't get referenced maybe as much as they used to or wanted to.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking here, just like if you really wanted to think long term, like they could do some really interesting contracts with people to have them do X amount of episodes of the show and then go to the movie, just because that's one of the more common complaints that you get in terms of a lot of these kind of movies and setup is you have to take time to get to know these characters a bit more, and you'd be able to fast track that. Like, you still have to be able to do some of it because movie versus TV, but you could fast track a lot of it if you can give people another way to see it.
The TV show would give you the outlet for that long, for that slow burn, whereas you could, kind of just do a quick summary sort of introduction, like boom, we're in, like they did in Star Trek with Kirk, right? It's like we see him, he's born, and then all of a sudden we see him stealing the old muscle car, driving, being reckless, and then boom, we're in the...
Well, again, with most of these characters, and that's why I'm so happy with Superman, Batman, how we're getting a older Batman, because I don't ever want to see the origin of Batman again. At least not this decade.
Yeah.
I disagree.
If they wanted to do Batman Origins, right, as a movie, fine. As long as we have Justice League... Ben Affleck Batman running around doing his own thing already. Like, I don't need to see... Like, if they want to do a solo flashback origin movie, whatever. I don't care. Yeah. But I don't need another origin of Batman.
Well, I agree. I don't need another origin of Batman. I've just realized I like the origin stories being revisited in different ways. So,
but when you have...
when you have a limited amount of movies,
when you have 7 Batman movies and 2 of them have been about his origin, it's like that's such a huge percent of them. Superman, same thing. We have 6 movies and 2 are about his origin. Yeah. It's like, it's so many.
I'd say 1.5.
But really, 2. Huge parts of 2 and 3, huge part of 3 is about his origin as well. Lana Lang was a huge part of 3.
So it's 2 spread over 3 films.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is perfect timing because here comes Toby. Because we just spent a good half an hour talking about how much we're happy with all these DC movies and animated and TV shows coming up here. And the last thing I want to do, because God knows everyone knows. So Toby, you came here at the perfect time, okay? Because we just spent a half an hour gushing about Gal Gadot, whatever. And the Wonder Woman, hopefully she's going to be good, and how Justice League is going to be awesome, and all this crap that you guys just heard, and talking Arrow's so good, and I want to get your opinions on some of this stuff, how much we like The Flash, all this stuff is great. And then we also saw the Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer. Now, I hate to bash Marvel all the time, but I only do it when I think it's fair.
I love the fact you say you hate it, but you have this huge grin on your face.
Now, I got to remind people, Avengers is probably my second favorite comic movie of all time. I love the Marvel movies. Iron Man 3 was a bit of a mistake. But
a bit
of a mistake. But, Toby knows my opinion on Toby, say hello.
Hello.
There you go. Toby knows my opinion on Amazing Spider-Man 1. Now, we saw this Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer. Okay. Toby, you really liked the first movie.
Yes.
Right? What's your thoughts on the second trailer? Do you dig it? What you into this? What's going on? Too much? What do you like? What do you not like? Let's hear from you. We've been talking the whole time.
I don't know.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, wake up, Toby.
No, I really don't know what to think of it. I liked the first one. I was excited for the first one. This one, I just don't care. That's kind of
Is it you just don't care because of the villains, just the look, or
kind of all of it? I just don't feel it's... I don't know. Spider-Man seems more Spider-Man, and the villains seem less Spider-Man villains. It's almost in reverse. Like, the Raimi movies, the villains felt like the Spider-Man villains. They were the villains that we know and love, and they were it, right? And I had problems with, Toby's version of, or Raimi's version of Spidey, and that's just me. It's personal. I just didn't care for it a whole lot. I felt that the Mark Webb version was more Spidey to me. It was more Peter Parker to me. I mean, sure, they changed some of the origin stuff, and they had more of the family stuff in there. And I know Charlie didn't like it as much, and I can see why they're going with it. It takes away from Uncle Ben, I think, too. Spidey seems more like Spidey, but everything else does not seem Spider-Man anymore to me. That's just like my 2 cents on it. But
I totally get that, because I think maybe, I kind of had a similar feeling with the first one as well. Because I think when the villains aren't strong, it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people complain with Thor 2 about Malekith not being a strong villain, but Loki saved it. Right, and all the other
he
stuff.
stole the show in that one,
right?
Yeah.
And so, to me, even though I don't necessarily agree with that, I thought Malekith was fine, but he was not this movie. I mean, the movie was Thor and Loki, as always. That's the first one, wasn't, and as Avengers was.
It's also funny because looking back, I've never been a big James Franco fan, but over the years, he has kind of won my respect with all the different parts he's played.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Looking back, I really think he did Harry Osborn really, really freaking well, actually.
Yeah.
And this new guy does not scream like Peter's friend to me. He seems like more like a douchebag.
You know who he should be playing? What's that fucktard in the Morrison run that you really like?
Quentin Quire?
Oh. He would be a great Quentin Quire.
James Franco or this kid?
The kid from Amazing.
Yeah,
I
could see that.
I could see that.
So if you haven't seen the trailer, go watch. There's like a 2-minute trailer out there.
Press pause. Go watch.
The villains in this are the Rhino, kind of. It's like
Ultimate Rhino.
Big mechanical Rhino. Is that their Ultimate Rhino?
Kind of.
Okay.
Basically.
I thought it was a mini Pacific Rim.
He was.
Sorry, I just watched the movie.
I didn't get that far in Ultimate, so I don't remember Rhino. Electro, which is the ultimate version of Electro. Just guy flying around somehow, and I don't need the giant green suit with yellow lightning bolt head piece, but the ultimate, dull.
Well, that's my other problem with the trailer. I think I'm like the opposite of like the majority of people like that when they watch superhero movies, they want to see crazy action. And it does look freaking cool, and the stunts look amazing. But I actually am the opposite. I like the small scenes on the sides.
I want both.
Right? I mean, that's kind of the stuff I always liked. I mean, the stuff I like in the Batman families when Nightwing and Red Robin are on the roof talking about what Batman did, or family
absolutely.
stuff. I mean, that's the stuff I love. So I hope that doesn't go away. I mean, that's why I was so excited for Mark Webb to take over the Spider-Man franchise, is because I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see more of the life of it.
Yeah. No, and I think, at least to me, the action in the trailer was better than all the action in the first movie. I thought the action in the first movie was really minimal. The fight scenes with Lizard and all that, I thought were just like, ugh, like who cares? So this looks cool. Now, this could be the coolest 2 minutes of the movie. I have no idea, right? I mean, you don't know. But if it's just a bunch of nonsense visual effects, that doesn't save the movie, right?
Well, it's Rhino,
Hobgoblin or Green Goblin?
Or Green Goblin.
Right, and then Green Goblin is the third villain, and it's not Norman Osborn, because Norman Osborn looks like he's on death's door. So, and I mean, it's Harry.
Well, that gives them the perfect excuse to give him the serum to go crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. But I'm almost 100% sure.
And then you see in the hallway, you see the Vulture wings and Doc Ock's arms.
Well, so there's two things with that. First of all, it's heavily implied by the trailer that Peter Parker's father is directly responsible for the creation of all these villains, including the wings for Vulture and Doc Ock's arms. Because he's talking about, I had this secret, I did this terrible thing, and Norman Osborn used all my technology and all my findings, and it's showing all the villains as he's saying this. So to me, the implication here is that Peter Parker's father, who's Richard Parker, is responsible for all these, which to me, again, that's something else. It's like, oh, well, I don't like that at all. Like, it just feels like, same thing like with the Ben Parker stuff in the first movie. It's like this is off.
Well,
like, it's a dumb change. And like Spider-Man 3, like it actually didn't kill his father. It was Sandman that killed his father or his uncle for some reason. Like,
that. While I agree with you, I didn't necessarily love that. I didn't care about that so much, and I think it finally actually just hit me why the way they're changing Peter's family bothers me so much. And going back to the most recent issue of Amazing Spider-Man, also in a weird way, but Peter in general has always sort of had, and I understand people's thing about like, well, he can complain all he wants, but he goes home to a supermodel or whatnot, and I get that. But Peter in general was always sort of like the guy you could kind of empathize with because you saw a certain amount of yourself in him. Like the kid getting picked on in high school, the guy struggling to pay the bills, realistically, you can always kind of
You can relate to Peter Parker.
You can relate very well to Peter Parker because of his upbringing, because of everything. Like, he is a very, very, very human character.
Right.
And I think the more you tweak with his sort of origin, the more you kind of go, okay, well, his dad was this uber genius who invented all this stuff that got him killed, and it takes away from a lot of that relatability.
This is crap from the 90s Amazing Spider-Man run that me and Toby both are really enjoy, but this is one of the shitty aspects of it when they're like, oh, your parents were really S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and here's like some LMDs of them. It's like, what? Yeah. Let's never talk about this again, because it's terrible. It makes no sense. It's needlessly soap opera-ish.
And that's, as I said, that's one of the great things about Peter Parker is he kind of has this traditional upbringing with his aunt and his uncle. Right. And like, even though he's technically been orphaned with them, like he's just such a relatable character. And it's part of the reason I had a problem with the first Hulk movie they did like in theaters was you couldn't relate to Bruce Banner at all because they went out of their way to kind of change him from this guy who kind of made a mistake, and like they started tweaking his origin so much that you really didn't empathize with him at all. And
did you ever read that awful Mark Miller Trouble book? What was it, Trouble? Where he tries to imply that Aunt May is actually Peter's father. Or Peter's mother, I mean. Sorry, Peter, hello.
Whoa, what kind of
Peter's mother.
I know you like to read the Marvel books a little differently than the rest of the world, but I didn't know you were going that way.
That's some trouble.
No, I never did.
To be Peter Parker's mom, so thank God that thing is exiled from comic stores. It's the biggest piece of trash.
Anytime I find issues of it, it gets instantaneously thrown in the corner bin.
That's some excellent art. Terry Dotson.
Yeah. Too bad about the story. But so this Spider-Man trailer, like I said, I think the action looks fantastic. I think the action looks way better than Amazing Crane Man #1. But good Lord, I'm struggling here. Like it feels like what I wouldn't give to have Disney take X-Men. Well, X-Men's actually fine to take Spider-Man from Sony, because I'm just not. I mean, Toby, as much as I know you like the first movie, but I know you're not feeling this. If it was like, yep, here's Spider-Man, he's going to be in the Avengers and hanging out in the Marvel universe, like actual Marvel, like here he is with Captain America, like wouldn't that be so much better? So much better.
I'd rather have Fantastic Four over there, to be honest with you.
I'd rather have all of them back there.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Well,
the X-Men the X-books have always kind of been in their own little universe. So the X-Men movies being off in their own world is actually okay. Like, I actually don't care about that. Oh, but I will say something totally awesome about Marvel and their movies here right now. Speaking of the X-Men movies, X-Men got another sequel announced, X-Men Apocalypse, rumored directed by Bryan Singer as well, for 2016.
Well, that's because he's the one that put the word out there on Twitter.
Right. So, as much as this new Spider-Man movie, I'm going to go see it. But as I'm kind of like, I don't know about this, I am so excited for Days of Future Past. And then if we're going to Apocalypse, I don't think it's going to be Days of Future. I don't think it's going to be, Age of Apocalypse. But I'm assuming it's just going to be like, Apocalypse, I've come from the past, I'm in the future, I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, Apocalypse always sort of responds to signs that now's the time to...
Right.
Do you think that's what's going to springboard the X-Force movie that's rumored?
Could be.
That would be awesome.
Cable's introduced in the Apocalypse movie, and then you're going to have the Cable in the X-Force movie?
Could be.
So
you just made Charlie's day.
Everybody's already aware.
Charlie just jizzed a little in his pen.
I'm sure everybody's already aware that like Apocalypse is my favorite X-villain.
Yeah.
Like even above Magneto and stuff. I love Apocalypse. And like when they announced this movie, I'm like, and now I'm waiting for the Cable casting announcement. That was my first thought. I'm like, who are they going to cast as Cable? Because they have to have Cable then.
Yeah, if it's Apocalypse, I mean, Cable is almost 100% a guarantee to be involved in this somehow. Now,
somewhere Rob Liefeld's going to get some checks.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we don't have anything else to talk about Apocalypse, but as we find out stuff, we'll talk about it.
Well, I wanted to throw in from that Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer.
Yeah.
To me, I think the reason I'm not really excited is there's too many villains again.
Well, that is always a problem with these movies. When they're talking Superman, Batman, having also Wonder Woman, and rumors of Flash, and rumors of Nightwing, and Luthor, and rumors of Doomsday, it's like, oh. Now, you can do it, because you have Lord of the Rings, you have the Star Trek movies, you have these various movies that are, the X-Men movies that have done this well. I think it's difficult when you have a single character movie. The main character gets lost in the shuffle with all these other characters. So for Spider-Man, how are we getting through? I mean, unless it's just like, here's 3 villains, and no origin to them. Because the Spider-Man movies, the Batman movies, so much of those movies, I mean, Batman's hardly in his own movies. Batman, the in the cape and cowl, is barely in those 3 movies. If you do the count of actual screen time, it's really little. So most of the movies about the human aspect and the villains. And if you have 3 villains, what's going on?
So I've been saying for years, since the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, that the only way they could do it properly to get to the Sinister Six is to introduce some villains into it that are, I hate to say it, very sort of basic. Because here's the thing for me. Spider-Man doesn't just fight the Green Goblin. Obviously, Spider-Man stops bank robberies, he stops muggings, he stops this, and one of the great things that I find about sort of the Spider-Man comic is you can literally have a one-dimensional villain who managed to buy some piece of tech from Oscorp and decide to go rob a bank and be stopped by Spider-Man in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever.
Well, I'm suspecting Rhino is actually going to be a secondary to a minor character. I'm suspecting. I don't know for sure.
That's sort of my expectation is I don't need some big character development on Rhino. If they want to make Rhino just some guy who was wooed by Oscorp to basically get this tech suit and go rob a bank, I'm fine with it.
Right now, the way I see it is he's kind of like a Bebop Rocksteady to like Harry's or or Norman's Shredder.
Sure.
To and then Electro is so it's weird because originally I thought Electro was the main villain, but now Harry's all over the trailer. I'm like, okay. I mean, like I said, the action looks good. I'll look forward to it. I mean, I'm just not excited anymore.
For me, it's like in Spider-Man 3, I loved the Sandman stuff.
Yeah.
Like the origin of Sandman.
Well, you could thank the studio for that one. The studio forced Sam to do Venom in it, no matter what. Sam wanted to do just the Sandman movie.
Well, and the Hobgoblin.
Yeah. Like, no, I really enjoyed, like, the Sandman stuff. It was great. And then all of a sudden, Sandman disappears until the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, poof, gone. And then now it's like,
Venom.
Now it's Venom. And, Harry's here, but we're going to have him hit his head numerous times and almost die, but not die till the end.
Well, to me, I mean, like, I guess Sandman and Venom, it's like they can kind of take weird shapes, so they're a little the same, I guess. But what totally dissimilar characters like can you have? Sandman, like...
Well, I think I'm also not excited because I think Harry looks so weird on that glider, if it's Harry, or if it's Norman. I think it's just like, oh man, that's worse than the Sam Raimi version. I hated that one.
Now people, and I know a lot of people who hate the Power Rangers Green Goblin.
I hate the Power Rangers Green Goblin.
But to me, I'm like, you know what? Compared to this... I'm totally down.
Well, the
with
reason why I hated it so much too, because Willem Dafoe, man, he looks like the freaking Green Goblin. Just paint his face green, it would have been fine.
Oh, he did that. God, it was like a vampire movie shortly before he was cast.
Oh yeah, Shadow the Vampire.
And like you literally just paint his makeup and stuff there green, and it was the goblin face.
Yeah. You know what? Someone out there is so good at special effects, they should take that first Spider-Man movie and redo his costume and like digitally add in his face or something like that and make him look like the classic Green Goblin. Someone should do that. They should have like
the problem with the first one is they're both like Power Rangers. I mean, at least put one in a face.
Yeah.
You know,
it can't be Spider-Man, right?
It could be, it can't be both of them bobbling head and going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't know where you go from here. So, all right, we got a handful of questions here, and I'm gonna wrap up. It's from Mitchell.
What up, Mitch?
Brock's buddy here.
You need to pick up the phone when your dealer calls because you need some comic books.
Yeah. It's good. We'll talk about movies, so this is a good question. It says, what Wolverine story would you like to see in the next movie for a Wolverine sequel? He wants Old Man Logan. I think that's a tough sell. I think Old Man Logan would be cool, but I find that I don't know if that would work. I would actually love if they could find a way to do Wolverine and the X-Men, like the Wolverine as a teacher, kind of teaching because I love the book, and I think that would be a cool way to introduce new characters, still kind of have it involved with the X-Men a little bit, but still stand alone enough.
See, to me, Old Man Logan's the way that you kind of go, okay, we've finally decided Hugh Jackman's gotten too old. We're going to do one final send-off movie. We'll do Old Man Logan with Hugh Jackman and retire that version of Wolverine. Like that.
The only problem with that is they got to get the rights to Hawkeye and Captain America. And
no, they don't.
You replace them with other characters. It's fine. No, I don't think they're going to give up Hulk to be some inbred.
No, there would
I don't know. Game of Thrones is allowed that hillbilly to come in. So.
There'd be huge changes to that story, but I mean, the general idea of a bunch of X-Men villains splicing up the world and like all that's fine. They can make that work.
Here's the secret problem with Wolverine. His solo book has kind of sucked for 30 years, so. There has been good runs.
There's been good runs and good mini-series.
Wolverine is great when he's with the X-Men. I think you have the Frank Miller run, and that's kind of it for a really long time. You're not going to bring in the stupid Wolverine clone and that girl. I mean, Weapon X. Okay, well, no, they've already done Weapon X, so you can't do that. All right, and that was the other great Wolverine book.
And they've already basically done Origin, so.
Right? Yeah, all these other ones I don't think would work.
Like we talked about with Punisher last week, it's like Wolverine kind of has that character where you can kind of take him out of those things, and he can be put in situations where it works. Mm-hmm. Like same with like Ghost Rider and stuff. Like these characters, they work on a team dynamic, but they also work on a individual dynamic. But it's an individual dynamic where you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's Wolverine. Just have Wolverine do what he does best, right?
But then you're talking a completely original story, which comic book movies are notorious
original
for.
Story? Oh, man.
But comic book movies that try it are notorious for failing with it.
I just finally want to see a good Wolverine movie.
Wolverine was good.
Yeah, I like the second one. It's
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's cheaper at Best Buy this week, apparently.
I liked it a whole lot more than the first one. That's for damn sure. And X-Men 3.
I would like to see maybe a professional take on Wolverine, as in the
professional.
Like Wolverine and Jubilee running around.
It could be they could do a Wolverine and Kitty Pryde or Wolverine and Jubilee.
I would actually really like. I mean, it's kind of a throwback with Wolverine and Rogue
or Armor, sure.
Yeah, or Armor. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of throwback to Wolverine and Young Rogue in the first X-Men movie. But I like kind of seeing that.
That'd be great.
But you know what, Charlie? I'd really like to see him in that Uncanny X-Force movie with Cable. Doing Black Ops X-Men shit.
All right.
That's what I would like to see.
This one's from what? On Twitter.
What?
Who says, how come we never talk about Y the Last Man? He would love to hear our thoughts on it. I think we talk about Y the Last Man.
Well, we've mentioned it a couple of times. I don't think we've ever fully.
Yeah, generally, Y the Last Man is one of the short list of give me a non-superhero book that has an ending. Y the Last Man is probably within about the first 5 that anyone ever mentions. Yeah. And especially with things like Saga being so popular, Y the Last Man sort of had a kind of resurgence as Brian K. Vaughan comes back into kind of the public consciousness again.
And even beyond that, I love hardcovers, and Y the Last Man has a very good set of 5 hardcovers for the entire thing, just like you have 100 Bullets has done that now, and Ex Machina has done that now.
I just say it's a great book. It's Brian K. Vaughan. Go read it. Yeah. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. What are we going to say about it? I mean, we could
get through the first trade.
Yeah.
We could do a bunch of stuff. I mean, Last Man's great.
I actually took me a couple times to read that first trade. Somebody lent it to me.
Okay.
And I had such difficulty kind of getting...
Not 100 Bullets? You're talking about Y the Last Man?
Oh, 100 Bullets, I had the same problem. But that was because... The 100 Bullets was because they were talking Ebonics in that first trade in Ghetto. And I was like, oh... But Why Last Man, because I think of how the story unfolds and the pacing of that kind of first story arc, it was kind of just because it was like, holy shit, this is, and then it went really slow.
Oh no, I didn't have any problem with it.
Yeah, me neither.
Once I the second time I picked it up and started and read it from the beginning, like I was boom, I had to have the next one. I had to have the next one. I had to have the next one.
It's really weird to compare Why the Last Man to Walking Dead, but
no,
in a lot of ways,
pretty similar.
I think it's in that ballpark. I mean, people like Walking Dead. It's Why Last Man is in the same category. Fables is in that category too. It's just one of those really quality Vertigo books.
What's the monkey's name again?
Damn it!
Don't ask me questions like that. I knew this was going to stump you fuckers. I don't even remember.
But I really like the book.
I swore.
Huh?
I really like Why the Last Man. I think it's an excellent book.
Oh yeah, and it's the reason why I sort of compare it to Walking Dead isn't necessarily the post-apocalyptic aspects of it.
Ampersand. That's right. Yeah. Because Urick's the guy, but I was like, what the hell is this monkey's name?
But it's got a lot of those sort of similar kind of things of, okay, in this world, how do humans react to it? Yeah. How do people deal with it? And it's very good.
Well, Walzo's got a few questions. Actually, Walzo's got a few questions here, and Stefano, two regulars here on our questions.
Let's get through them.
Well, they got a bunch of questions that we're not going to answer because they're Walzo wants to know what were some books we were excited for but turned out okay or not good, and then vice versa. And then upcoming books for 2014 we're excited for. And Stefano asked us if we're going to be doing a Best Comics of 2013 show. And the answer to all three of these is find out on our final 2 episodes of 2013. That's going to be a special 2-parter, December 23rd and December 30th. We're going to do a little kind of pre-recording here so we can take a little vacation time from the podcast, but we're going to have a nice extra long episode that we're going to split in half.
The episodes will come out on a normal basis. Yeah. But we're actually going to record it all at once.
Yeah. So we're going to have next week is going to be a regular episode. Then we're going to have this kind of 2-parter end of the year wrap up, as well as our book club pick of the month, Infinity Gauntlet. So that's
shit, I got to pick one for next month?
Yeah.
I get the first one of the new year?
Close.
God, this is pressure.
So we'll have a lot of stuff in a couple weeks on those. So we'll have a lot to talk about at that point. Victor on Twitter asks, my 11-year daughter really likes Teen Titans. Where should she begin with the old comics? Not the new 52. She's looking for the old stuff. He started with Teen Titans when he was 11, back in 1983. And she's asking a lot of questions about superheroes lately. So Teen Titans, I'm assuming, probably because of the Teen Titans Go cartoon, or maybe the original one. Yeah. That'd be about the right age range for that stuff.
That would be my question just right up front. Is it because of Teen Titans Go? Because if so, it's all about Tiny Titans.
Well, I think you have, there's, for the modern stuff, you have the Super Pets stuff, you have Tiny Titans, you have the upcoming Teen Titans Go animated comic that's coming out based on the cartoon. So that's...
Is that February?
No, not yet. It hasn't even been solicited yet. It's coming out soon, though. If that's sort of what she's into, then... you probably want to check out those ones, and those are going to answer questions related to the cartoon continuity.
And the Tiny Titans, they're coming back in print, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a new Tiny Titans series as well.
No, the
trades are all in print.
Are all back in print.
The trades are all back in print, so they should all be available from DC. I think there's 7 of them. Sounds right, 7 or 8 of them. I think it's 7. So those are all available. Definitely worth checking out.
And for any adult Tiny Titans fans, you should pick up the Harley Quinn Zero.
Yeah. They've got a Tiny Titans page in there.
Yep.
Now, if you want, new Teen Titans comic book stories, the sad fact is DC, like Marvel, really, I mean, it's not no different. None of this shit's in print. You can't get any of it.
Are the omnibuses out of print again?
They're out of print, period, I think. I mean, I know at least one of them is. Maybe the second one isn't, but it doesn't matter because there's no point if you can't get them. And they skip issues. They straight up, about
the volume 3 skipped issues. Yeah. The volume 1 and 2, I don't think did.
Well, because George Perez did all these issues. They straight up were like, if George Perez didn't do the art, we're going to skip the issue, despite the issue being in continuity with the rest of the issues. Well, it wasn't a standalone.
The only reason that really, really bothered me when they did that because I had already bought the first 2 and there was no way I was going to skip the volume 3.
Right.
Is because it's not called the George Perez Teen Titan. Like,
right.
Jeff Johns Teen Titans, that's fine. Just give me the Jeff Johns.
But the Gail Simone, Rob Liefeld issues are completely their own little separate thing that you could just pick right up and not the George Perez. They were just filling issues of a different artist.
I know. I'm just saying that in general, if you're going to solicit something as
the complete whole of the thing, then make that the complete whole of the thing. If it was just George Perez, you would understand the separation of that work.
Now, the thing about Teen Titans, especially the new Teen Titans stuff in the 80s, is there was people like to think, oh, Starfire is all getting naked and whatever now, blah blah blah. That comic was still a little adult and that's why I think it sold so well, and that's why it was so popular. There were some adult elements in that book, especially all the stuff with Trigon, with Terra, with Deathstroke. I mean, this never really was a kid's book. This was in the point where DC was becoming, we have Swamp Thing, we have John Constantine, we have, Hellblazer, we have all this other stuff. And Teen Titans was kind of in the middle. It was definitely a maturing and an X-Menning of the Teen Titans.
Yeah. Is any of that stuff available in showcases?
No, they only did the Silver Age stuff, which is which is difficult. So,
I mean, it's not too difficult to find that stuff in single issue.
Nah, they're cheap. You can go find everything except for issue number 2, which is the first appearance of Deathstroke. Everything else is super cheap. You can get them all in dollar bins. You can get them all cheap. Just go buy some old issues. The trades are not really available. There's nothing in print. Just occasionally something will pop up, but as of right now, no. That's nothing else you can do there. Not a question, but a comment from Don on Twitter. He says, Charlie, I'm sorry, but decided to stop reading Green Lantern. It's just not the same. We all agree. We have no.
You didn't need to apologize.
I have stopped pushing Green Lantern on people.
Am I gonna switch your comic picture, which is a Green Lantern?
No, because it's a Green Lantern drawn when Johns was writing it.
I don't. Okay, flat out, I still love Hal Jordan, still love Green Lantern, but that doesn't mean I love the book currently.
Yes, this is true.
So, Peter, he's got a question. It's a great question to end on here. Let's just do this last one. No. Okay. He says, what would make the perfect gift for each one of your fellow co-hosts? Money is an issue, and this is hypothetical. In this hypothetical situation, comic-related / nerdy gifts only, of course. So, what am I going to buy for you, lovely co-conspirators of the podcast? Let me think.
Money's not an issue.
Money's no option. Money's no issue. Okay. Charlie, I am going to buy you a subscription to Marvel and DC's hardcover collection until the end of print. Okay? So they're just, every month, they're just there for you. Okay?
So, like, Star Trek Online, you're going to pay a shit ton of money and it's just going to go free.
It's a lifetime account for all hardcovers, not Premiere, all good
all the good ones,
all the good hardcovers going forward forever. I figure that'll be good enough. See, I don't want to be like, I'm going to buy you something that's $8 trillion. No, I'll be somewhat reasonable here. Brock and Toby, what do I get you guys?
Mine has horns.
Yours has horns?
Yeah. And it's got 4 numbers behind it. 2 of them are zeros.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Never mind.
Okay. Well, what I get?
Try Toby.
I get Toby. Toby's just shaking his head. What? Toby, I am going to buy you the penthouse suite at the Comic-Con Hotel. Forever.
It's actually making me quite
yeah. So Toby just
your Comic-Con hotel room penthouse suite forever.
That'd be pretty baller. I think a lot of stories would come out of that.
Yeah.
A lot.
So about how you jizzed in your pants?
No.
Brock, you've gotten actually way more into it than I thought. I'm going to buy you a bookbinding company.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And
I'm going to do it myself?
I'm going to buy you I buy you the company. So you can just say, so they'll bind you, and they have unlimited issues to back issues.
It'll never make any money because it'll just be Brock's
No, they don't
books.
need to, right.
It's already Brock's.
Right.
No, we'll make money. Bryce will bind everything in X-Men.
Yeah.
Like X-Men Legacy.
Yeah, you've been really into the binding stuff, so that's my pick for you. I'm gonna buy you like a golden ticket to mycomicshop.com for shitty back issues. and a bookbinding company. So.
And people my binding will become the standard that DC and Marvel goes by.
Should be.
Charlie will never be pissed off at doubling up again.
See, I'm just too busy going, why would you want it to become the standard there? You could start selling the books.
This is true. No, I can't. Well, I could.
Now does Charlie's subscription to all awesome hardcovers count your bookbinding? See, that's the thing. We get a little cross.
It's gonna be a rivalry. There's a little rivalry going on.
You know what it'll be? He'll have a lifetime account of us redoing his hardcovers.
There you go. All right.
Well, what are we gonna get Ryan?
Oh, you guys getting me something?
Well, all of us have to say what we're gonna get the other person. Let's see. I guess I'll go. Charlie, what would I get Charlie? Money is not an issue. I think I would get him I would have to do another subscription.
Well, he would need subscription to bookshelves, see? Because he's going to run out of bookshelves for all his hardcovers.
You know what? I'm going to
Do we have to build on what it's been built?
I'm going to buy you a library with unlimited add-ons. Right? So you can annex as many as you want, and you know what? It's going to be able to fly.
Exactly. It just continuously.
So you can have your library helicarrier of your ultimate library.
Ooh, library helicarrier.
Yeah. Toby. What would I get Toby?
See, I buy everything myself right away, even Toby, if I don't have the money.
Toby, I don't mean to be mean. I am going to buy you the largest basement known to man. And
that's bad news.
I'm going to hire you a permanent organizer.
No, that's bad news because things will just disappear in the basement forever.
They will have a little golf cart, and so you can end up having your own Indiana Jones underground place where you store everything.
That'd be cool.
But it's all organized.
That'd be cool.
Ryan?
Yeah.
I would somehow, some way, track down original art for New Warriors #1.
You know what's funny? So about this, no. So years ago, God, if only
pulled the trigger.
If only I had now what I had then. Years ago, I was at one of the other comic shops in the area, and I'm walking through, and I look up at the wall. I'm like, oh, it's some original art. And I look back down, and I look back up. I'm like, that is the final splash page for Thor 111. That is the first appearance of the New Warriors. That's the original art for it. Holy hell! And this is kind of original art.
At the time, it was like $100.
It was like $400 or $500 or something like that. And original art hadn't quite exploded.
Why didn't you sell a kidney?
I didn't. Not $500. But original art hadn't quite exploded.
Go to
how
one
it
of those
has
banks
now.
and deposit fluid.
I'm sure that art's $10,000 now, right? Because original art is just going bananas in price. But I was like, now it would be like, no question, done, credit card, bank, everything, empty all my accounts, here it is, how much? Yeah. Whoever has that art, get in touch with me.
And Marshall would get a call saying, we're having a sale today.
We're having a sale. Sell everything. I need this.
I would get you New Warriors original artwork.
Thank you.
As much preferably the first appearance and the cover and maybe every single page of the first issue. And the first appearance.
Some shitty pages in that first book.
Okay, then I'm going to get you the original artwork from the first comic you ever picked up, which is Dark Horse, Dark Hawk #4 with the crotch shot on it.
Blow up that crotch shot.
Just blow it up, and you can put it in your house and say it's modern '80s art. So
early '90s, but close enough.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was trying to get your music thing in there, but
close enough.
Toby, your turn.
Ryan is easy. I buy him a comic book related. Golf or themed golf club. So it'd be like
my own nightclub.
Yeah, dude, it'd be like Neil Gaiman, Sandman, and Def. Golf club.
You guys know about this?
The Batman club.
Batman club from Sunnyvale.
We need to make an outing to that.
It existed for a year in the '60s.
It's time to break into that place.
It was the old forum, right?
We should reopen it.
So for people that don't know, this gets brought up occasionally online, and people discover this happened in Sunnyvale, the town where we live in and record in, and the town the store is in. In the '60s, right when the Batman show came out, there was a Batman-themed go-go nightclub, right? All '60s style, yeah. And it was open for a year, right? But then they shut it down. But holy hell, that's the coolest thing in the world. I would love to read. I was even James Sim from Isotope was posting about it this week, and I was like, dude, I own a store in Sunnyvale. I DJ. I should reopen this club.
You should. Fucking maybe not a golf club. There you go. You got your Batman club.
Yeah, it's awesome.
60s Batman
I can
club.
bounce and do bartending.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
I think we got something here we got to do. I want this club to come back. That's awesome.
We can have a special VIP room.
Just sweet ass 60s music. Ah, so good.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, Charlie, I think I might cover us both on this one. We will finance the Doctor Who 100th anniversary now. We'll just shoot it now, and we have the best time of our lives.
I could see writing a script and adding to the script as they add more. That could be interesting.
Yeah, so they have to follow our lead in what doctors they cast in the future, because we'll basically film a future
You
episode.
don't just make yourself future doctors.
No, I just want to be in control of it.
No, I could see scripting it out now, so you can film new scenes with like David Tennant before he ages and Matt Smith before he ages. And that way,
we master planned this whole thing.
Exactly, you plan that out far enough ahead of time that.
But is it enough money to get Christopher Eccleston back?
You just kidnap him and
Force him.
Yeah, have you seen the Muppets? It's doable. It's doable. Doable.
Have you seen the size of Charlie?
Charlie just has to sit on him.
This is true.
Brock?
Charlie's not fat. He's just big.
Brock?
Why am I so hard?
You're a tough one. You are. You don't have such easily likable things. Like I think some of us have like very clear. Like you do.
I don't have favorites.
But there's no like Geoforce like theme park. Actually,
No?
Geoforce theme park.
That would be
a
actually
good
pretty
idea.
cool.
I would give you a lifetime account to Paulo's tattoo shop. Yeah.
Brock has enough tattoos. He doesn't even
Not my artist, but I'll take it.
You could go, well, yeah, fine. You could have your own artist. I just like to pimp my guy. But, I'm sure there's some spots he can still cover that we don't want to know about.
Oh, I got one down there. Don't worry.
Hey now.
Oh.
Hey.
All right, Charlie.
All right, Charlie.
Okay,
Take us
so
home.
I haven't figured out Ryan yet.
Oh.
But Toby, I would fund a blockbuster. Basically,
Yeah.
let him actually film his blockbuster and fund it. That would be fun.
That's all I ever want to do.
Brock, I think I would buy a replica of the throne from Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yeah, I could.
Just in your living room.
in my living room,
Yeah.
I can't fucking watch anything in this chair. Ow, what the fuck?
Did you see some of those original art where they were like what it kind of was supposed to look like?
Oh
and
my
it's
God,
like
that
it's
looks crazy
like 40
cool.
feet tall.
Yeah. No, I'd pimp that. I'd pimp that when like people came
See,
over.
I think I have a really easy thing that none of you have mentioned.
Well, I've decided for you now.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a subscription to remodeling the store.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That was my other
just
thing.
Just buy me a giant building with unlimited money to make a store.
You know what we could do? We can have it on top of Toby's massive basement.
See, the thing that
I
people
want just my film studio, and I could be at the bottom. He could have his
the
store
thing
on
that
top.
the thing that people misunderstand, like if I got like $50 million, let's say, I wouldn't open up some giant mega comic store with like 1,000 employees. It would be probably still the same size or a little bit bigger than this is.
He just goes on vacation on occasion.
No, it would just be like I own the building. It's in the own thing. I could do whatever I want to it. I could change everything. Like I have the
I could have anybody come in and put a water heater in.
Yeah, Brock's install my water heater. Yeah, we're finally getting into the 1900s.
Yeah, just so you know,
no more weird
was
socks in the drain.
Yeah, exactly. Just its own building. Everything's done. I can do whatever I want to it. Yeah, exactly. I can remodel it all I want.
It's going to be next to a warehouse where he could have his like 80s nightclub.
Next to the back club.
There's going to be
the back cave's upstairs, right? The back cave club's upstairs.
It's going to have like a slide track just to your warehouse. So anything that you get here, like the He-Man figures or any of your stuff, I just put it on a bucket and it goes down the slide.
Well, the ceiling, the roof's going to be an Amazon drone landing pad.
Which one of us is going to be controlling that thing?
And it just slides down a bat pole.
Man,
and just,
I got to go to Illinois again with this thing. Autopilot.
Bryce is easy. We just give him every single X-Men comic that's ever been produced and that'll ever come out.
He's close. He's close.
He's pretty well. The future, at least he's covered to the future. Every X-Men movie, every X-Men cartoon.
So he
Just
never.
get him a life-size Sentinel.
I don't want
put outside his house.
He would just drive it around himself. He goes, I'm going to work in my Sentinel.
With Omar, I don't even want to get into Omar.
Well,
An island in Hawaii?
Yeah, sure. There you go. All right. We're going to wrap up now. Yeah, Lost Island. That'd be another good one for me. So we're going to wrap up.
We're going to buy the Lost Island?
Hell yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. We'll be back next week, and then we'll have that special two-parter kind of to wrap up the year.
Oh, man, we got to do homework for that episode?
Shit. No homework. Memory. Well, I guess homework. www.geekbox.net is where you can find this episode and all our previous episodes, as well as comicsconspiracy.biz. Forums at geekbox.net. You can go there and talk to us. We have interesting stuff to say on there occasionally.
I haven't been on there in God knows how long.
I'm there every day. Not too many other people are, but I'm there every day.
What happened to those forums?
Forums no one uses forums anymore. Just in general, people don't use
forums. They moved to Facebook.
Yeah. But we have the Facebook group, which if you search Geekbox on Facebook, there's a Facebook group on there, and we'll invite you into the group for some reason. You can't just have people join, I guess. So there's that. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. You can go buy our digital comics there. A bunch of us do random other crap. Brock's got conspiratorBrock.com. Mm-hmm. Omar's got comicsanddekind.com. That's his blog. Charlie's got the Infinite Long Box at infinitelongbox.com. We're all on Twitter.
You talking through your teeth on that one?
Ryan Higgins, Ryan. Brock Sager. Comics and Dekind is Omar. Larson Bryce. That's Bryce Larson. Toby XI is Toby. Insanity and Chaos is Charlie. Don't go follow us all on Twitter, and you can send us messages on Monday night when we record the podcast, and we can we'll
attempt to answer them.
We'll answer what we can. So thank you, everyone. Toby, thanks for making it a little late, but it's all good. Better late than never.
I want everyone to remember.
Can't believe you guys talked about Wonder Woman, Fast and Furious Go without. Can't save that for the end. Couldn't save that for the end.
Okay, hold on. All Ryan wanted you to do was pronounce her name.
See, I call it got it, but that's just me. I don't know how you actually call it.
I've looked it up. I can't find a consensus on how to pronounce her name. Consensus.
Okay.
But we'll figure it out. So.
Remember that the book club pick for this month is Infinity Gauntlet, and we will be talking about that in 2 weeks. Yep. Go vote at conspiratorBrock.com.
If you liked it or not. Mm-hmm. All right.
Or if you were indifferent, I actually have that option.
Awesome. All right. We'll catch everyone next week.